So,
We have
so-
quite the this has been quite the week for the type of show we do. Holy
oh
fuck.
my goodness, it's been quite the week. So, before we went on the air, we were addressing, and I guess we can pull it up here, the evolution of Mark Zuckerberg's hair and just the entire outfit from JRE, because you have Zuckerberg, and he's got like the full on, like okay, so here is Zuckerberg. Here is just like a still frame of Zuckerberg from the first time he was on the show. I take it this was back in what 2020 maybe he was on.
It was a while back, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look what he looked like back then. Okay, here's just for like a quick reference.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Here he is then, and then now here he is.
It's
And I'd
Like
it's
okay,
crazy.
like look how thick the neck is. Look how wide the shoulders are. Just his overall demeanor. He's got the
So
dog tags and stuff.
yeah. So the reason why I'm kind of struggling to get through the episode right now is I don't want people to think that I don't think people can redeem themselves, but he suddenly now realizes that there's an issue with fact checkers and stuff like that. Like he's now starting to
Well,
like
if we are to give old Zucky Ducky the benefit of the doubt,
oh,
this is a scenario that I've kind of painted and thought about. If it's true, okay, if it's true that the Biden administration was screaming and cursing and bullying the Facebook team into censoring all different things, now that they're gone, do you feel like he's finally deciding that we can begin pushing back because the regime is changing, or is he just being disingenuous and using the pressures of the Biden administration as an excuse of why it's taken so long to ease up on the AI decision making and etc.?
I think it's the latter. I easily think it's the latter because if and I believe him that the Biden administration was bleeding on him, but if I were in his position, I just leak it to the public. You're gonna
Well,
have more
apparently
people.
all the emails are out there.
Well, yeah, well they are now, but it's
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. Like, look, and I agree with Joe Rogan that a platform that many people on there, it's a lot of people to manage. I get that, but to pretend that he's not just shifting to the winning side because it's convenient for him, it's like, well, you had the stuff with COVID. It's just like, yeah, but look at
Well, okay, I want to ask you this.
yeah.
If we are talking about freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of information, and et cetera, all that we see on Facebook is the little microscopic slice of our friend list and who we socialize with, and the meme pages that we follow and this sort of thing. So we aren't even, and then I guess when you go on public pages and you see random people,
Yeah.
then you kind of get the inside of the other side of Facebook.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is it at all a bigoted or kind of granting permission to bigoted behavior if I say that what is offensive and what is seen as derogatory and unjust in America, you can't then turn to an account from a Middle Eastern country or an African country, or even parts of Central Europe that just aren't on the same pace with like gender roles and perhaps homosexuality and things of that nature. And they have a point of view in a different language. It's not even, the people that are the most affected by it may not even see it. Or do we say that people and cultures and struggles are unilaterally affected, and therefore we have to have the same censorship for every single user?
The way I look at it is that I think, for one, people need to be the architects of their own demise. Because the problem with these platforms, and I've said this before, if I were to run a platform like this, I'd have it be the Wild West. Because if I say I want to ban or hammer down offensive content, the term offensive is subjective. What you might find offensive, I might not find offensive. Like, for example, if someone says, for example, I might not find the term fag, for example, offensive. Somebody else might find that term offensive. I don't.
We can't even say that on YouTube, Jim.
I mean, it's fine.
There's worse things. Well, you weren't calling anyone the word.
No, and it's just an That's the point, though. You see, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this whole, like, I'll put it like this: people need to be the architects of their own demise, and Elon Musk and people like this have said this, that a part of freedom of speech is people saying the thing. People have to be allowed to say things that you might not agree with. And every day we all run the risk of being offensive.
Right. As I fix this fucking microphone, freedom of speech teaches you a lot about someone's character. I don't want to put someone in prison for comments that they make because I see them as obscene or whatever. But I definitely stay away from people who voice certain things. So, perhaps you wouldn't know how someone felt about race and these sorts of things if freedom of speech wasn't openly available to us.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And living where I used to live, I have encountered real life Klansmen who told me they were Klansmen, and I got to the other side of the bar.
I knew
without freedom of speech, I wouldn't have known to fuck off away from this fucking guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily, I don't know if you should throw people in jail for just admitting that they're pieces of shit. Is what I'm.
That's my statement. People need to be the architects of their own demise. If people aren't putting their, look, you choose what you post on social media. For example, you see the shit I post on social media. It's usually pretty ridiculous stuff. Now, if I decide I want to post the most degenerate stuff, I can at my own risk. And the other reason why I don't like I've mentioned this on the channel before. I vehemently resented the idea of Bill C-16 because if the second you let the government decide what words are okay and not okay to say, that it really is a slippery slope into tyranny.
Right. This is where I think we control it. Okay. I think that in workplaces, in schools, in those communities. And by the way, we will show Alan is popped in on the YouTube stream.
Hello, sir.
But in communities, in workplaces, but in situations where you can certainly have social and civil disciplines. Okay, I'm not saying that. If there is a if someone is expressing certain ideas on social media and they begin to notice a decline in their social life and they say, free speech, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's fine. Okay, you can express what you believe in. And this was the point I was getting at with my weird confrontation with that guy that was a Klansman.
Yes.
It was, okay, well, you can speak all of this. The police aren't going to stop you. But I'm certainly going to walk away from you now. And I think that's completely justified with those that say, whether we agree or disagree with the reason that they do this, whether they view things different politically or religiously or whatever, people that end up blocking their parents on social media. I think that is a consequence of what you share. But, you're not kicking grandpa in jail because he has some views that aren't so great.
Yeah. And the other thing people need to understand is there are people out there going like, oh, you're one of those cringe freedom of speech bros. Yeah. You want to know why I'm one of those cringy freedom of speech bros? I say I say post what you want, just be ready for the quant. That's true. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I'm not defending you from the consequences. If you want to go on the internet and say the most degenerate shit, fine. But you're not like that's for example, you bringing up the school environment's a good example. There are no laws saying that I can't say disgusting stuff to kindergartners. Is it advisable for that social setting? No.
Well, you see, maybe there is. You see, when it comes to children, okay, I do understand, and this is controversial because some of the drag bills and other things that have came up that we're not going to get into right now.
Yes.
When it comes to children, I do think the game has changed. Okay, and the same way that I see school teachers, there's a reason why their Facebooks are private. I'm Facebook friends with my old high school teachers, and most of their Facebooks are completely private unless if you
are of
are
age.
friends with it. Right. And it's because when you are working in the general public, especially with kids, you have to be very careful of what you post.
Of course.
And this isn't to say that if you are working in a corporate environment, okay, let's say you are an accountant at like Capital One or something. If you begin posting conspiracy theories on your Twitter account and Capital One fires you, that's not and people need to realize this, because I don't think a lot of people seem to still understand this. That is not that's not a breach of your constitutional right at all. You have the freedom to feel a certain way, and they have the freedom to let you go. And as long as we understand that, and if social media, if there was an agreement of, you can say whatever you want, but there still has to be something. You know what I mean? Like, I agree. I get what you mean with the Wild West concept, but we still have to have some sort of policing, because in the Wild West, then that opens itself up for terrorist ideologies and people telling each other to delete themselves and a lot of abusive behavior that you're still going to have to police in some way or another.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going around telling people, like, for example, if you're going to tell someone, I'll show up to your front doorstep and, shoot you or something like that, yeah, I would look into that. Like, but what I'm saying is I prefer the Wild West format rather than, I remember years ago, I posted something about Fred Rogers of all fucking people and some fucking cocksucker piece of shit fact check the thing. And here's the other thing. People think the AI fact checking stuff is bad. So are the people behind it too, especially when they have either a political lean in one direction, or B, they're being told the whole right finger group thing. It's just like, at that point, you don't care about freedom of speech. It's about what's going to hurt my feelings or what do I think is offensive, rather than it's like with comedy. We've touched upon this, for example. There are no laws saying that I can't tell gratuitous or horrific humor at a kid's birthday party. Am I going to? No, because I realize that a kid's birthday party, it's just not the environment for that. There's no laws for that. That's just a social thing. That's just a moral thing. You don't need laws for everything. And you don't like this. Like, I don't want things to be lawless, but I don't want so many laws that it feels like if I say what a certain way, then I might face a 30-day ban because I put an exclamation point, and that's somehow violence or some shit.
Right. Well, this goes back to the same conversation we were having a number of shows ago when Pornhub got banned in 17 states.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute here. So Alan has a piece of contribution on the same concept. The debunking community on YouTube bugs the shit out of me. I mean, sure, debunk if you want, just don't be a dick about it and send your communities after person. Yeah.
I agree with that. I also,
but Do we
Um,
mean debunking in terms of like, like everybody debunking Boogie? Like, what kind of debunking
well,
are
I
we
think what he
talking about?
means by I think what he means by debunking stuff is, for example, the mask we'll use for an example. I think enough of us knew that the mask were shit, and when it turns out that that was the case, there are people like me going like, had a feeling, that that was the case.
Yeah, and
Then there
then
are other people who take it a step further and they say, "I told you, you leftist soy boy cuck bitch boy like
right,
it's
and I don't like that. I don't like the name calling and also the fact checking. Like, um, if someone's, I think in those days, like if someone's doctor told them something, it was the rush to the comment section to determine whether or not that doctor was competent based off of a Google search telling them otherwise. And that just went into this whole other direction. But what I worry about is we seem to be in this age where we want censorship. It's not that we don't want censorship, we absolutely want censorship, but we just want it to be fair and balanced. And we
it
talked
needs to
about
be
this last week.
it needs
Or
to be used it needs to be used sparingly. It really needs to be used in the most extreme of situations. Wanting to use censorship because someone hurt your feels is a misuse of it. That's like me saying every time I get into a fight with someone, I'm just going to pull out a gun and shoot them. It's ridiculous. If someone punches me in the arm, I don't have a right to pull out a revolver and just
well,
pop them around,
of course, and I think that in the same way, if you were in if you were going back and forth with someone on a comment section of Facebook, and you
Yeah.
were to say, "Oh, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to track down your house," and you start making all these threats to him, and then maybe you say, "Well, it's because you are Jewish, or it's because you're a woman, or what have you," then
Yeah.
yes, okay, that user should be flagged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like that, by the way, when we say that out of context, we just lost 2 viewers. Just
Well,
like that.
and
So, you know, I've been noticing this, and I kind of wish, I can kind of wish. Oh well, yes, Alan is right about that. Facebook is a hellhole. Yeah, it's here and there.
and
Um,
and so is YouTube because
right.
and there's a reason why people like me liked retro Facebook and retro YouTube because yeah, there were times in which certain content was censored, but it was extreme cases. Like if you're posting execution videos and shit like that, yeah. And that's why a lot of people like me prefer the retro formats because they were just trying to find their footing, but no one, for the most part,
Right.
you didn't have to worry about posting, for example, a wacky skit and someone implying that you were a bigot because they couldn't read into a fucking joke or some shit
Well,
like
right.
that.
Well, see, that's the other side too. I believe that satire is very important. Okay, I'm not saying that it's that. Okay, satire and comedy and all that. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I was trying to get at is, um, are the people okay? Like for an example, all of the incel subreddits that have been taken down, the white supremacist Facebook groups that have been taken down, things that are overtly expressing violence, expressing bigotry, expressing like actual hate towards another group. That's what I was more referring to. And unfortunately, the 4 people that were watching all dropped off after I gave those 2 examples. I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm not being misogynist. That wasn't the point of that. I'm just saying that when we have Facebook users, we have half of the world using Facebook. At some point in there, okay, we are going to have a lot of off the cuff shit that's being said, and it's not all going to be defiant by the terms and services. That's all that I mean. If we can have a tighter AI, because that's all it's going to be. It's not going to be human beings shuffling through comments and what have you. It's just going to be an AI. So if that AI can learn to understand sarcasm and parody and etc., and then also recognize true hatefulness, true attacks, um, then maybe some air will be cleared. But I don't know how you do that, and I don't know how long that's going to take.
Well, I also think at this point maybe it's time that YouTube and Facebook redefine their TOS and their rules and their guidelines, because they're pretty shit anyway. Especially YouTube's. YouTube has got horrific TOS and guidelines. The amount of time I've seen people get there are people out there who will the amount of, for example, the amount of false copyright claim stuff is absolutely insane. And then YouTube eventually figures out, oh wow, there are people who abuse the copyright system. Yeah, because they figured out that it's a bad system. But you also have people who will flag, if they don't like you, they'll just flag content and say, oh, I heard the N-word in there. And no, I'm not talking about nincompoop. I'm talking about
Right?
the
Yes,
other.
of course.
And it's just like,
Well, see, that's a big problem that YouTube has with false flagging, where you will have fans of a streamer, and they are, at odds with another streamer, and then the toxic members of their respective communities will then go and false flag them and whatever. That's been a thing for years.
let me
But you
elaborate.
then also have to remember that companies are the same exact way. Okay. We have the freedom to talk about an SNL sketch, but never ever can we play it, because you play a solitary second of anything from NBC and you are, you're immediately flagged. So, I guess there's that.
Well, to elaborate on the streamer thing quickly, there's a difference between if one streamer calls out another streamer, whether it's justified or not, and the streamer who gets called out decides to tell their audience to attack that person, versus if, and a big rule that I have is, for example, I go after Destiny. I don't go after his audience, because my problem isn't with his audience. My problem is with him. But if I decide to go after his audience and they come after me, that's kind of my fault, because it's an unintelligent thing to go after someone's audience if you have an issue with a streamer's ideology. If I say that a streamer's ideology are brain dead dipshits, I shouldn't be surprised if my content gets flagged, or if I got people in my DMs sending me emails and stuff like that. I kind of did to myself. Is it an unnecessary response from the audience? Sure. Was my attack unnecessary to begin with? Falls back into that freedom of speech thing. I have the right to call someone's audience brain dead dipshits. I better be prepared for the amount of shit that comes with that.
But see, and also half of the time too, Jimmy, the people that are using that kind of language and are sort of just spamming everyone in the thread, it's not even like someone worth worrying about. Typically it's someone who is nameless, is faceless. It's not even worth it. But you got to remember, YouTubers have sued their audience members
Of course.
over the same thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And, that's why when it comes to having an audience, I've kind of learned that even if you tell your audience members not to attack someone, there are going to be people in there who do it anyway. Do you still blame the YouTuber for giving that discretion not to? I would think not. But at the same exact time, if a audience member goes too far, it's like, that's why I also believe in individual identity. Hold that individual accountable. And if an entire group goes after someone, hold the individuals that did that accountable. It's a slippery slope, but at the same exact time, we do have a way of going about that.
oh yeah, certainly. But anyhow, um, We will go ahead. I wanted to pull the footage. Here it is. I think is this here?
Is this of Ice Cube?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the raw. Okay.
So what's the context? Because I didn't know that he got himself into some trouble. This is the first time hearing
Yeah,
of
if
it.
I can find the raw footage,
Yes.
then we will go ahead and take a look at it. Here we go. Okay. Okay, good. We will move this along here and pull this up. So this may go a little bit, but this will be a fun segment. So Ice-T, he's pulled over in New Jersey, and I have not seen very much of this yet. But I've been told that the cops do not look good in this situation at all.
Officers, let you know you're being recorded, okay? I'm headed to the DMV. That's where I'm going to get all my registration and everything. You know your registration expired since 2021. That's where I'm going. So you have your.
It's been expired since 2021.
I mean, that happens sometimes. People really do like lose track of their shit. It happens.
Well, I mean, you think how long was Los Angeles shut down for? Is my question, or New York? How long were these places shut down for COVID?
You know, I've been to the. I've heard stories about people waiting at the DMV in different places in New York. It's pretty. The wait time's kind of shit, man. That's why I'm appreciative for the DMV we have out here. The wait isn't as fucking bad.
Wait, didn't he just come back into the country?
I didn't know he left. That's an interesting piece of information. If he left, that could be, you know.
I don't know. Perhaps I have no idea. Maybe he was somewhere recently. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this.
Yeah. And you know, even if someone does have like expired registration, if I see that they're driving like normal and they're telling me they're on their way to the DMV and all that to get that corrected, I just let them move along. You're a cop in New York, man. Is that really the top of your fucking concern? Jesus Christ, man.
I have no idea, but let's go ahead and get into this.
Yeah. The license expired as well. That's why I'm going to the DMV. Give me my paperwork. You're Yo, don't touch me. Don't give me like that. Give me my paperwork. Get this on camera.
Legendary rapper and actor Ice-T, best known for his role as Detective Odafin Tutuola on Law & Order, was pulled over in New Jersey for what looked like a missing front plate on his Porsche. Things took a turn when officers found his registration and license were expired, leading to a heated exchange with the star. Here's how it all went down.
Kilo comes back, negative stolen, 2015 Porsche 911, two-door color gray. Registration expired.
Step down one.
Oh boy.
How's it going, sir? What's up, officer? Officer Silla, Hudson County Sheriff's Office. Let you know you're being recorded, okay? I'm headed to the DMV. That's where I'm going to get all my registration and everything straight on this car.
At first, everything appeared to be normal as a simple traffic stop, but things would soon escalate between the actor and the officer.
Yeah, so it looks like to me that the guy more or less, he's just wanting to get this. He's wanting to get like a big arrest in, is what it feels like to me.
Oh.
You know your registration expired since 2021. That's where I'm going. I'm headed right there. When did you decide to go and change?
Yesterday. I went yesterday.
But what I'm saying is, registration been expired since 2021.
Car's been parked.
Are you sure?
Yeah, of course I'm sure. That's why I'm trying to get this car set up.
Oh, okay. So he just has so many vehicles. He's not using them. And this is just a car that's been hanging out for a couple of years with expired tags. And he's,
with what Alan told us earlier, that kind of makes more sense. If he's out of the country and these cars aren't being driven, then
he says he's doing something overseas at that point. He very well may have.
Well, I'm saying
I'm not really up on the Ice-T news.
I don't know, but if what he's saying is true, that the car has been parked and hasn't really been driven, I think that if that is true, that could check out that he's overseas. I mean, why am I going to get registration? Why am I going to renew my registration for my vehicles in New Jersey if I'm currently in like, the UK abroad studying for something? Why do I give a shit,
Right, exactly. It's parked at a private residence, whatever.
Exactly.
But who really knows? Let's go ahead and keep going here.
Yeah.
Oh, yesterday I went to the DMV and they said that their system was down, so that's where I'm headed. I got 7 cars. I'm trying to get them all straight.
You say you went to DMV yesterday? They said the system is down?
Yesterday, yep.
What time was your appointment yesterday?
I didn't have an appointment. They just take me.
You need to have an appointment to go to DMV.
I don't need one.
Why is that?
Because they know me.
Because they know you. Is your passport? Do you have a driver's license with you?
Yeah.
Because they know me. Yeah, no shit.
I mean, to be fair, you don't always need an appointment to go to the DMV either.
No,
man.
but this is New Jersey. Who knows what the rules are?
I get it. I'm just saying that, I get it. I'm just saying that and I'm starting to see your theory that this guy is just trying to make a big arrest. He's making it more of a deal than when he needs to. I can kind of see that, but at that point, just bring the plate in and get the registration. Well, he's on his way to do that. If he's not driving recklessly or crazy or anything like that, I
guess, but Alan has a point. I mean, if this guy has 7 cars, I'm sure he has one with up-to-date tags and shit.
Maybe he doesn't if he was overseas. I don't know. All I'm saying is that if he's not driving erratically, if I were in that cop's position, and I know someone's going to say you're just saying that because he's a celebrity. No, believe me, there are tons of celebrities who have gotten off for horrific driving. The Mel Gibson situation, for example, is an example of horrific driving and other savory words being said. If this guy's not driving like a maniac and he's going to get his shit done, I'd say, especially if you're a cop in New Jersey, if we're going to pretend that what, you think New Jersey is like, what, Shadra, Nebraska? Come on, dude.
Right, exactly. Yeah, where the fucking DMV's open 2 days a week.
Yeah.
I just also, too, I like how comfortable Ice-T is. Ice-T is just such a cool guy. And he is so comfortable just being himself and completely laughing off this cop. This is so great.
I'm getting that. That has.
His license.
That's expired.
Too.
So you have your license expired as well?
That's why I'm going to the DMV.
Sir, even if it's 1 feet, you cannot drive with an expired license and expired registration.
I mean, why don't you follow me right to this garage right here? The DMV is right there. You don't got to be that serious about this. I mean, you can, but you don't have to.
Well, is it serious? So,
You can, but you don't have to. Well, no shit.
I could park the car right here and then walk to the DMV.
That's 566.
it's 5-6. I'm good with our road.
Those are all the things.
You said you have other vehicles registered?
I have 7 vehicles.
Okay.
Receipt. Do you want me to start the hook?
It's 5-6. It's the standby. You could
they're
drive
pulling
the other
the back
vehicle
up now?
what's
Can you
registered
see this?
and get this
How
one
can I
registered.
handle this? Can I handle this? You gonna take me to jail?
I'm not going to take you to jail.
Okay, can I park the car here and walk to the DMV?
I'm going to tow your vehicle. It's
No, you're not. You're not going to tow my vehicle.
Pause that.
Let me park my car right here.
You're not going to move your car, sir.
Pause
Give me your
that
keys right now, and
quickly.
I'm going to tow your vehicle.
Stop
You try to be
this.
more respectful with me, I'm going to respect you the same way.
So then let me. You see, I'm going to.
No, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to tell you what to do. So give me your keys right now.
Holy shit.
If you're going to go that route.
I asked you, can I park my car?
I said not. Give me your keys, sir.
If I'm not under arrest, then I'm getting out of my car.
I mean, yeah.
Give me my paperwork here.
No, don't touch me. Don't
Give me
like that.
I
Give
don't-
me my
I mean,
paperwork. Get this on
I
camera.
don't even think it's
This
just
motherfucker-
racist cops out there. I mean, there
I'm a
certainly
foot
are
away
racist
from
cops out
DMV.
there.
Distance.
You
Can you
are
pause
fucking
quickly?
asshole.
I'm not an asshole.
Yeah, hold
You've been
on. I'm
asking
going
for
to
me.
pause this.
You
I don't like, yeah, there are some racist cops out there, but as Johnny kind of mentioned earlier, sometimes you get these guys who either start off as cops, who have been cops for a few years, who feel like they need a big arrest. They need to feel like they're a big boy. Like, I arrested Ice-T from Law and Order.
I don't even think they know who he is or they care. They are just yelling at this older black man.
No, but
And it's wild. Like
I'm just saying that it doesn't always have to do with race. It really is, for example, people who have never had any power and authority in their lives, and they see the easy route it is to become a cop.
Oh
and
yeah,
to get that.
especially this guy is being compliant. He is being in the beginning he was being compliant. He was trying to be as nice as he could be, and then the cop began zeroing in. And as soon as Ice here decides to bite back, suddenly the cop wants to do the whole "give me your keys," let me see your ID. He's really trying to pin him down for something now.
And now he wants to tow his vehicle. It's just like, dude, come on, man.
Like, just let him park it. He wanted to park it.
Yeah, waste tax.
asshole. I'm trying to get to the DMV. I showed you all the paperwork. Let me start recording your dumb ass.
So 5-6, start the hook and start another unit. All right, you're in the parking lot for Dunkin' Donuts, right? 5-6. Irish communications to SO83.
The actor began recording as the officer called for backup. Ice-T appeared visibly angry, frustrated that the officer didn't give him another option to register his vehicle.
Actually, that's SO83. He's going to be 9001 Bergen Line, where the Dunkin' Donuts is. SO83 region.
Oh, he said it's a sheriff. That explains it. I don't know the New Jersey traffic laws either. That's a really good point. But he was asking if he could park the car. He was showing that he was going to be cooperative, and that's the part that I'm still stuck on.
Yeah,
he
chose to be
until he was attacked.
The cop literally pulled a Sauron from Lord of the Rings, and he was like, "So you have chosen death."
Right.
It's just like, dude, there are people out there who actively choose not to comply with cops, and you got a guy who's willing to go all the way despite being a celebrity to comply. And celebrities are usually douchebags when they come to the police. They're like, I know the commissioner of your police department. I could get you fired. Here you got a guy who's like,
he's not trying any of that.
No, he's just like, I can, you can either follow me to the DMV to make sure that I'm, my story checks out, or you can let me park and I can walk over. He's showing, he's showing peaceful options. He's being very compliant, very residual. And you got this guy going like, well, now that you want to go this route, I'm going to tow your vehicle. If I was that guy, I'd be like, you had me come all the way out here to tow a man's vehicle who's complied. Go fuck yourself.
And I'm happy that Ice-T's parking back.
How about I tow your vehicle instead, Junior?
So what happened, Sarge?
What's up, Sarge?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm trying to get to DMV to register my cars.
Okay.
I got all the paperwork and everything there. I asked the officer, could I just go over here or even park my car so that I could walk over there, get all my paperwork together. He says he wants to tow my car.
All right, give me a second. Let me find out what's going on here, and then we'll figure something out, okay?
Okay.
And
Right,
meanwhile, what's so
Too
funny
much,
is the two people behind Ice-T, they know the guy from Law and Order is fighting with the police.
Well, that's the irony of this, man. You got a guy. You got a guy who plays a detective in a cop show getting into it with an actual. The irony is he's dealing with one of those corrupt cops from the show.
Right.
The irony of all this. He's like, do
Why
I really
does
have
this cop look like Paulie Walnuts? By the way,
He says. Well, let's see if Paulie Walnut's the unsung hero here.
Okay, so what I was going to do is just issue him a ticket, let him park here. Okay. He jumped out of the vehicle, he didn't even ask me. He came so close to me. And he said, he called me an asshole. He called me an asshole, and he said, give me all the paperwork right now. All right. And everything's been recorded. And your vehicle has been towed. And you're receiving tickets.
yeah, definitely
For,
being a sheriff.
Right now, for tactical purposes.
The officer received permission to issue the actor 4 tickets, including one.
But do you see what this led to?
Yeah.
The sheriff is here. All this backup is here. Over
You know, I have nothing but the utmost respect for cops, but I'd be going to fucking jail that night because I'm spitting on that motherfucker's face. I'm not kidding. It's gonna be like, bleh! Seriously, I have nothing but respect for cops, but I will spit in this fucking sea.
Oh, that's probably a
face,
felony
man.
in New Jersey. You're probably never getting up there.
I don't give a fuck. Are you insane?
Oh,
For driving with a
this guy's this mafioso cop.
suspended license.
There's a lot of dead air here, so let's go ahead and scroll through a little bit further.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they're getting back to actually talking with Ice-T.
Yeah.
I can't tell him as a sergeant what to do. Okay? I can guide him and I can make a recommendation. He's going to give you 4 tickets. Okay? I asked him not to give you the 4 tickets, but he could bring it down to 2. He said, no, he's giving you the 4 tickets.
What are the 4 tickets?
He says you have no front plate, no inspection sticker, no registration, and your driver's license is expired.
Okay. All right.
All right?
See,
So it sounds like the guy that was called on the scene was trying to go to bat for Ice-T, but the other guy who goes home and makes love with his woman for a slamming grand run of 45 seconds, which is 15 seconds higher than his previous record. And he was like, I did it, honey. 15 seconds longer. Now I'm going to
he's the one arresting Ice-T, or not arresting Ice-T, but granting 4 tickets. But what I was going to point out too, by the way, this is the stark contrast between a regular person being a hit on these cop cams and a celebrity. Ice-T just got hit with like several $1,000s in tickets, and he went, all right, cool.
Well, I mean, that's the best case scenario in this instance.
What I'm saying is it doesn't matter. These tickets don't affect him financially at all.
No, but I think that it's not about the money. It's about the principle, man.
Yeah, but what I mean is that if this were let's just put this in perspective.
I understand if it's a regular person, that's probably going to hit them pretty hard financially. I get it.
The guy that has 7 cars to register, I don't think he's too worried about it.
No, but it's really, and like I said, I have nothing but the utmost respect for cops. But this is the exception of a cop that I would spit on, and I hope it's a felony in New Jersey because I'm a do well in fucking prison.
Before we turn off this cam, let's take one more look at this handsome chap. There you go.
Oh, is that? I think that was the guy that was trying to go to bat for him.
No, this was the Paulie Walnut sheriff that wanted him.
Oh, that's
wanted
the
him
one
in
who
trouble.
wanted to give him the tickets.
Yeah, you'll see his face in a second here. There
Thought
he
the guy
is. There he
I thought
is.
the guy who wanted to give him the tickets was a sergeant. That's what I heard
man.
heard in the footage.
Oh, okay. Well, perhaps maybe it was. Maybe this guy was trying to go to bat for Ice-T.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the original cop that pulled him over was a sergeant, and he said, and the sheriff there was saying, I can't tell him what to do. I can only give him recommendations. I was going to try and get you 2 tickets, but he wants to give you 4, which basically translates to, yet again, this guy fucked his wife for 45 seconds, which is 15 seconds higher than his regular record. And he decided because he couldn't make it to a minute, someone had to suffer for that. And poor Ice-T had to suffer for that because this guy is a real sea sucker.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, man.
I got another clip in regards to we won't have to play the full
Yeah, New Jersey
footage
cops,
for this.
New Jersey cops, certainly.
I'll put a link in chat. I don't have to play the full footage for it, but I don't know if you'll remember this story or not. If not, you're going to be in for a fucking doozy.
Yes, Jimmy was scolded by a cop.
So to give people quick context before this clip is played, it wasn't even a cop. It was a traffic guard. And I have no issues with people who are traffic guards. You're going to have to play the clip, though, because there's a section that's really funny in it that really...
There's no traffic guards listening to that. Well, there's no one listening, but there's definitely not a traffic guard listening.
No, actual cops are listening to this.
Oh, of course, an actual cop. Yeah, the fucking NSA is listening right now.
Oh, cool. I've always wanted fans.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
I've heard that Jimmy's fans happen to be on walls at Walmart, and their current age is digitized.
Yeah.
Had a problem with the cops
Oh,
or
it's such a
something?
minor thing, just really bugged me. 2 days. First of all, we had the Gay Pride Week, so Saturday night. It was like a whole week.
A whole week?
in Manhattan.
Boy, I wasn't paying attention to that.
So this was not it. Well, yeah,
I didn't know
had
it
a program and everything.
I know. I didn't know it was a week of activities.
Week of fun.
Saturday when I'm driving into the village to try to do my sets, they're blocking off. These weren't the cops. These were these scumbag traffic people who are not cops.
All right, they're not real cops.
They dress them like cops just so you don't spit on them when you drive by.
Yeah.
And I'm like going down Greenwich, and I want to cut over to McDougal, and I see the guy. I go, look, man, I know no one can come through here. I'm like, look, I'm a comedian. I'm working at the Comedy Cellar. I've had this happen a couple of times over the years where they won't let you in, but they know you're an employee. You're going down there to work.
They just don't want through traffic going through.
Real cops always let you through.
Yep.
Come on. This... what do they call them? The people who, what are they called, Kenny?
The traffic guards.
Exactly, the traffic. These faggoty crossing guards.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they are. Crossing guards have the power to write tickets.
Wouldn't let me in. I'm like, dude, I'm working down here. I'm sorry, sir. So I go up one more and I see a guy, and I ask him too, and he's another non-cop.
Yeah, uncop.
And he's like, nope, can't let you. And I'm like, dude, I'm not BSing you, man. I'm working down here. I'm an employee. I'm not here to hang out. I have a garage I park in right here. Can't let you. And I go, you're not a real cop, are you? You're not a real cop.
Here it is.
Yes, I am. I'm a police officer. I'm an officer with the traffic division.
Oh, pause it. That's what I'm talking about, man. It's stuff like that. I'm a part of the traffic division.
It's almost like those sorts of things. Rent-a-cops.
Exactly. And there's another there's another part in the clip to where he's dealing with that same guy again in a minor incident, and he said, "Oh no, man, I was just I'm just doing X thing, buddy." And the guy was just like, "It's officer, not buddy." It's just like, yuck.
I know. Oh, I'm not your friend.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like the
Yeah,
people that
those.
goes like, it's like if I called you Johnny and you're like, that's Mr. Cross to you.
Well, it was like those cops. It was the retired cops. The ones that are the worst usually are the guys that tried to be a cop. They were mediocre at it. For whatever reason, their career just didn't pan out how they expected it to. So now they are either a crossing guard, or they work for the DMV, or they just do something that is just this sterile fucking position. Yes, the Napoleon complex guys. Yes, yes, those people. And they just have this fucking shit job. But they still have the police mentality. So what they'll do is they will kind um, and they will kind of like intertwine the intimidation tactics and the sense of authority in their personality, the same way that they did when they were a cop. But because they're not a cop anymore, it just comes across, just this really cringy sort of way. You know what I'm referring to, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy knows guys like this. You got these two fucking guys at the DMV in the town he lives in, and they're both former cops, and they both have big asses and big womanly hips. They got these fucking bald, love-handled fat fucks.
One of them is a real sea sucker too.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they just carry themselves with this authority, and that's kind of like what a parking guard is, really.
Yeah. It's basically like if me and Johnny are playing a game of Smash Bros. And he beats me, and I tell him my dad works for Nintendo. I'm getting your IP address banned. It's just like, shut up.
It's like, and that's not how it works anyway. And
it's not, but you get the idea. It's me trying to, it's me trying to be more than what I actually am. It's just like, no, you fucking suck, man. Get out of here.
Great. He works in the building somewhere in Seattle, but I doubt if he can fucking have any authority over who's playing the games.
Or that's like if I tell you that my friend's uncle's wife, best friend's cousin is related to Bill Burr's son. Fuck you. And it's just like,
look, what? Like I've known people like that.
It's just
like where they'll be like, oh yeah, you know that guy from that show? Oh, I'm his cousin. Okay, well, who gives a shit? Great.
Yeah. Great. It's just like
I'm just one guy that's in your life.
Yeah, it's just like that's like me saying I'm related to some famous Italian comedian because he said cannoli once. Yuck.
What I really, the only thing that I will say is I think a big, healthy, something that is really going to keep the show at its healthiest, is going to keep us at our sharpest, is going to keep us undistracted. It's going to keep us undiscouraged. It's going to really keep us on our game. Is if we probably start recording these until we get enough of a base to do the streams. Because we have Alan here, and it's been fun, and he adds to the show. But either that, or we might just be on YouTube and see what happens. I think Facebook is probably not the correct place for this.
No,
because if you don't care about this up here, and us not worrying about if we have any live viewers or not, just doing a show and being organic about it. I mean, Alan says, "Put me in, coach." Well, you know what, Alan? As a matter of fact, if you have my info, if you have my Facebook info, just inbox me, because if we don't do if we do some taped stuff that gets uploaded, maybe you can be on. But definitely, I think the Facebook feed should be done.
Yeah, I'd say axe it.
Just because we had 4 people and I say two fucking words out of context, and then we lose them both. And now it's driving me crazy because I'm in mid-sentence, I see the number drop, and it's because of something that I said. And then, the whole conversation goes awry. So perhaps until we garner an audience and we can do like a live show here and there, I think we should probably just tape them. Because with StreamYard, the nice thing is we have this really nice recording system here. All I got to do is download it and upload it. I don't got to edit it. I don't have to edit it or do a damn thing.
Yeah.
But anyhow, something else, by the way, Jim. So I wanted to update before we go, I wanted to update on
Yes.
the Nebraska cannabis laws.
Oh.
Because now that the Attorney General of Nebraska has said that in this next session, she will honor the vote to legalize medical marijuana in Nebraska. She will make it widespread to as many counties as possible through 2027. And you're in luck, by the way, Jimmy, if you live in the Panhandle or if you live in South Central or somewhere that's not going to have a dispensary for a long time. Although I wouldn't. We'll talk about that later. We'll get into that because I don't know how long certain people will be waiting. But if you are given a card by a doctor, you can have up to 4 plants in your house. So this is a huge thing for the state. Not only is it passing, but it is passing robustly.
That's insane.
And I just thought it was very interesting because you and I remember Chatham State campus. You learn when you're there as a freshman or the beginning of any school year, the AD used to sit you down and say, all right, guys, so this marijuana stuff is legal in Colorado, but it sure isn't in Nebraska. And if we see it, you're outsies. I would imagine that regardless if you're a medical patient or not, on campuses that are dry, maybe you can get away with a vape pen and just keep it to yourself. But chances are that it's going to be looked at the same way as alcohol. It's not going to be permissible on campuses. So that's okay. But I do find it very interesting that we are now at a time where if the AD were to give that same spiel, she would have to say, well, it's medically legal in Nebraska and in South Dakota and in North Dakota and here and there, but we still can't have it. And that's fair. But I just think that if you really think about it in a grand scope, 5 years ago, well, I guess it's been longer than that now, probably 10 years ago since I've been a freshman on campus, or you and I anyway.
Yes.
It was just this apparitionist thing that a couple of states happened to have. And in that time, we've now seen half the Midwest have a cannabis program.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wouldn't have imagined that about 10 years ago.
No. Now, I tell you, who do you think is next? Who do you think is going to budge? Do you think it's going to be Idaho or Wyoming first?
Maybe Wyoming.
Idaho's not gonna fucking budge for
I feel like I would be. I'd be. Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the states that are gonna be last. Okay, even if because Trump has hinted at this a little bit. Alan says Wyoming all the way. Yeah, I think. Well, Alan's a driver. I don't know if he's been out there or not, but I think he's a trucker anyway. I don't know. I don't want to give too much of this guy away. I mean, He is only A, and he's behind an egg. Which, by the way, the shape of his avatar is the exact shape of his body. Just to give you a little insight.
So he looks like a triangle.
Oh yeah, the other white meat we used to call our buddy Alan. Anyway, getting back to the show, damn it. Any city or any state rather that has all that Mormon money, so Utah and Idaho, um, those are going to be the last states that are going to budge. But I could see Wyoming doing it. I could certainly see Iowa pushing forward. I don't know. I really don't think it should be political. I just think if we see it as medicine, it should be medicine.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree. Keep politics out of.
well,
Well, you start. Yeah, Johnny, you're gonna drive away our one audience member left.
right.
You drove away the other 3 to 4.
I guess Alan's not a Jew or a woman, so he didn't leave contextually. Oh man, yeah, we'll definitely have to get Alan on this motherfucker though. It'll be fun. We'll have to get a couple of people together, and then once we have about like 4 people that don't include you and I, we will begin to assemble this game show.
Ooh.
And what I'm thinking that we can do, okay, I'm thinking about how we're going to do it. Either we can do it like the squares. But we'll assemble it. But we'll get Alan on here. We'll see if he's a fit. I think he could be a square. I think Richard could be a square.
Yeah.
Um,
If we get our third mic, that could be another person.
yeah.
And maybe and maybe on the occasion JD's a free man and he feels like
Oh yeah. JD's gonna be a square on the show. We're gonna get JD on here.
I'd say once we get our third mic confirmed, I think we have our 6 people. Alan, Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our 6 people.
There's a few people that we would have to discuss that perhaps would make good squares, but I don't know if they would want to come on or not.
We can talk about it off air then.
Yeah, we'll do that. But yes, definitely, Alan, you'll come on. We'll talk about high school and all that fun shit, I guess, and then we can look at some clips. We might have to introduce Alan if he doesn't already know Boogie, because we're definitely gonna have to get back into him at some point.
Oh boy.
All right. So as we wrap up here tonight, we're going to determine, because there will be a Tuesday show, whether or not it is taped. That's probably what we're going to do for a little bit going forward. And then once we get an audience, we will then go live, because that way, we're not being pestered by the numbers. We know they're going to be low for now, but we just want to organically do a show and put something out there, and then people can enjoy it in post, because it takes the mojo away when people are, in and out of the room.
I agree.
At this low of volume.
Yep.
If it was any higher, it really wouldn't matter all that much.
No.
But anyway, Jimmy,
yes.
Is there anything that you would like to add here?
Not that I can think of.
Oh man. Shit.
What is it?
Well, okay, I guess we can tap into this before we go, but I don't want to spend too much time on
it.
Okay. So, we purposefully haven't discussed the California fires because we're trying to be non-political, for one. We're also trying to be very sensitive towards those affected by it.
Yes.
But the question that I have is, have you seen the video of the guy who allegedly took a blowtorch to the Palisades?
I did, yeah.
People are calling it propaganda and conspiratorial and what have you. But I am fully convinced maybe that somebody perhaps did start this fire. With what intentions, I don't know.
Maybe it's some. If and I'm going to say this is a big if. If it turns out someone started a fire, my speculation would be like, I believe in climate change, but I believe there are environmentalists out there who would do things to advance the agenda, as one would say.
Oh, most certainly. And what I think is so crazy is that the city of Los Angeles, they cut their fire and rescue back by $20 million. And there's another piece of controversy saying that a lot of the fire and rescue staff are former inmates, and that has a lot to do with it. I don't really know how true that is. All I know is the head of fire and rescue is getting paid like $700,000, and they were supposed to be the ones in charge, making sure that these quarries had water, making sure that these fire hydrants that were under maintenance were put back. They weren't. And we will continue on talking about this maybe on Wednesday as it fully continues to develop. California is still on fire, and unfortunately, right now, I don't think it's the healthiest time to speculate. Simply because a lot of people are going to lose everything, and whether or not if it was started by criminal means or not. It's very sad to point fingers and to say, oh, well, as a right winger, they asked for this, they're all rich. And then I've also seen the leftists saying, oh, a bunch of rich people's houses are being burned down. Why should I care? Both takes are gross.
It's
and
sad.
the fact of the matter is, a lot of people who are not rich are seeing a lot of degradation right now. So,
especially with how expensive it is to live in that state, to lose everything, I would just leave the state. That's all I would think to do. I mean, what else can you really do?
I mean, the saddest part is, though, Jimmy, is that how? Because if you've lost everything, if everything is burned away, that means you don't have a car to get into. You don't have a change of clothes when you get where you're going. The cash that you had laying around, that's gone. Unless if there's a safe that fucking made it through the fire. People don't have anything now. So and the insurance companies all pulled out. State Farm, it's now a thing that's coming out is that they pulled out. They canceled the fire insurance of a lot of people in LA over the last several months. Things are going to get really messy.
Yeah.
But for now, I think it's a good time to say our good nights, and we will be off, and we will get more in depth on Wednesday.
Yep.